And the magic machine tells me that you gotta be kidding me. No, you know what? I gotta tell you. Nope. Can't. Love you, Ma. Sorry. Gotta talk to you later. It's the way it's gotta be. It's the way it's gotta be. Unfortunately, it's the way it's gotta be. But we live and we learn. It's just the way it's gotta be. Make it up to you later, Mom. Make it up to you later. But what are we gonna do? The madness continues. The insanity continues. And the Emperor has no clothes. The title of the video, inflammatory. The title of the video, potentially, you're always picking a fight. And when you wave into waters that are controversial, and when you're wading into waters that are already passionate. Yet wade into the waters I do. Yet wade into the waters I do. And when I thought about this, I thought, well, if we're going to play the algorithm game and say it'll generate a hit, it'll possibly generate a hit, we'll get out there, we're playing the game, so we'll play the game, we'll do the catchy title. When I came up with the title, I knew it was too good not to use. Pazio named TTRPG Jesus in largest example of mass consensus since Nuremberg 1934. Listen, if you don't have the wherewithal or the background to decrypt the title, I'm not going to do it for you. There's enough there for the intelligentsia to work with, right? There's enough there for the informed to have their fun. In a nutshell, to set it up, because we say hello to the elephant in the room. Hello, we say hello to Juicy J. Gold star onto the elephant in the room. A silver medal onto Juicy J. And we await passionately or dispassionately with unattachment for a possible bronze. Listen, wait, is that Juicy J says no stupid comments today at work? Oh, are you speaking for yourself or for me? I don't know. And either way, I mean, and are you saying that I shouldn't make any stupid comments because you're at work, or you don't want to make any stupid comments because I'm at work, or you don't want to make any stupid comments because hey, no matter where we are, let's not make any stupid comments. If the title is inflammatory, if the title is getting people to the door, if we get people to the door with the title, we get people to the door. Not trying to pick a fight, not trying to say, hey, Wizards of the Coast are awesome. Not trying to say that Pazio are bozos deluxe. Not trying to say if you play Pathfinder, you're some sort of lemming. If you abandon 5e, you're some sort of mega douche. And I'm not trying to say that, I'm just trying to say, folks, games, these are games. And what I really want to say is I want to challenge untested and unquestioned assumptions, because what ends up happening is that people get passionate and they get inflamed, and then they stop asking questions, and then they just go on automatic pilot, and then they start doing crazy things. Like they'll start fights and pick fights with people and start trolling people to the craziest degree, And they don't even really stop to think, what am I so crazed about? Like, why am I getting so upset? A whole bunch of role-playing games here. If people need me to qualify, Stars Without Number, a role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons, Double Offense. No, I mean, no. This is approved, right? Steve Jackson, approved. Fantasy Trip, right? Role-playing games, qualifying. What is it? These are products that we buy. It's a community and our hobby. And yeah, it's good to be passionate about things. Yeah, it's good to be passionate about things to a degree, but it's not good to be obsessed. The stereotypes you don't want to play into. You don't want to look like the stereotype of you in the movies, right? And if you're tuned in to a thing about Wizards of the Coast and the controversy about Pazio and Pathfinder replacing 5e because of the no, you Wizards of the Coast, the people united will never be divided. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What the fuck? Okay, let your voice be heard as consumers, and this is how you know what, man? Come on, don't cancel Lost. Email sent. Man, I hope they don't cancel Lost. I sent my email. Fingers crossed. Oh man, they're gonna keep it going. Yeah. Or the Smallville or whatever. Cancel, don't cancel, email campaign. Yay. Okay. You got together with your flash mob on fucking whatever. What was I forget the name? I'm so old. I'm starting to forget. What was the pre-Facebook MySpace? You got together with your MySpace gang for the 5-person flash mob, don't cancel friggin' Chuck or whatever, you know what I mean? And that happened in 2003 or whatever. Good, but I mean that the good thing about that would have been you were out and interacting with humans, right? All sorts of untested, unquestioned assumptions about this thing. Like if people go to Pathfinder, you think people go to Pathfinder, you don't think Pathfinder is going to have their own VTT priority thingamabobber in a year or 2 or 3? Because that's where shit's going. I always think this way. I'm not the head of a multinational corporation, and I never have been. No one has ever given me $1 billion to play with. The people that we're talking about, these people, whatever we think about their corporate actions, they should or they shouldn't, they should do this, they shouldn't do that. They're playing at these corporate games, just all these things, all sorts of untested, unquestioned assumptions that people are just moving forward with. Always think people just get up and they make a video and the thing is that we come to videos in ignorance, right? We come in, we see a title of a video, we say, we're interested in this video, right? There's information, it's data, right? Even if it's just an opinion. Watsy's burning down the house, my rant. Yo, I subscribe to this guy. This guy's off the chain. When he gets going, he gets going. I know it's going to be some, right? There's plenty of videos that it's going to be some bullshit, but that's why you subscribe to that. Click it up. But you still know you come to it in ignorance. So when you turn it on, you're listening. You're in a receptive mode. And that person starts telling you all sorts of stuff while you're in that receptive mode. And some of this stuff is complicated. People are talking about contracts, intellectual property, the law, levels of the law, levels of analysis of the law. What happens if it goes to this level? If it's going to go to the court, if it goes to this, what's right, what's ethical, what's moral? What do we do next? and a lot of this conversation is taking place between all sorts of different people on all sorts of different levels of intellectual sophistication, right? And some of the people in the room are kids, right? Whether chronologically or intellectually. And you know some of this because the chronologically and it's whack, right? Because we got some 32 years old out here that might be like the stupidest 14-year-olds. They might as well be, right? And you got some 16-year-olds that you're calling up if you got like technical issues, right? You know what I mean? It's whacked out. And people are trying to make sense of that. And I'm just sitting there, I'm listening to people going, man, people are just having all sorts of opinions fly all over the place. And it is just, and I think people are being taken advantage of. And I think people are being manipulated. Because the emperor has no clothes. Because for, people who don't know, because some people are going to come to this video who are just, friends of mine or, fans of mine or just, for whatever reason, or just whatever. Trying to figure out if we can nutshell this in the time that I got, because I got about 15 minutes before I got to go. I don't know if I can, if you don't know about the background, you don't know about the background, and I can't do it. It's just this. So it's, if you don't know about the background, you don't know about the background. I guess it's inside baseball only. So if you know if the title Pazio named TTRPG Jesus in largest example of mass consensus since Nuremberg 1934, if that makes sense to you, and you can tell that this is going to be an opinion piece about Pazio and the questions about people moving to Pathfinder post 5e and people's the consumer reaction to 5e post WotC's OGL nonsense fiasco, then if you know what the title means, you know what the title means, and if you don't, then you're here supporting. It's going to seem like it's not going to make sense, and there's nothing I can do to help you. I don't have enough time to take you back to the thing. Congratulations. Here's the thing. Pathfinder only got its start because Pazio were the publishers of what? Dragon and Dungeon magazine. There was 2 magazines that were previously published by Pazio when when Wizards of the Coast, when previously TSR and then Wizards of the Coast were supporting, an independent magazine being published, 2 independent magazines being published. When they went to 4th edition, when Wizards of the Coast went to 4th edition, this is my understanding of the history, they kind of basically turned to Pazio and all the other third-party content creators basically said, we don't really need you anymore, which is what made Pazio turn and create Pathfinder and exploit that environment and do something with it. Good for them. There was a shakeup in the corporate environment in 2008 that threatened their very existence. They pivoted, they changed, they moved, and they created what ended up being, at first, Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons' biggest competitor, and then, for a brief time, they're outranking them. But the point that I'm making with that is that Pazio didn't create Pathfinder because they were, it was, by gamers, for gamers, and, fuck this shit. No, Pazio were a corporate publishing, publication entity who, in light of another corporation's dick move or whatever, however you characterize it, I mean, it's business. I mean, these corporations, to the degree that they are people, as Mitt Romney would characterize them, I mean, to the degree that they're people, they are Frankenstein, freaky monstrosities that threaten to kill and destroy us. They are literally, like, if you want to talk about Frankenstein, android, artificial intelligent, superpowered monstrosities like colossuses that should be taken out of existence, it would be these things. But whatever, corporations. But hey, but Pazio is just another corporation that, made a move. And they're still just another corporation, just like WotC. They're not like, people are acting like WotC are these terrible, horrible people, and that Pazio, like, we're going to go to Pazio, and Pazio is going to create this open license, and then Pazio is going to create this open license, and it's going to be fantastic. Well, why? Why is it going to be fantastic? How do you know that Pazio are not going to act like WotC? How do you know that the next president of Pazio, because Pazio is just another corporation. They're going to, I don't know if they're privately owned or whatever it is, and even if they're privately owned now, privately owned corporations can be sold, or privately owned corporations can have their own terrible things happen and can go out of business, or whatever's going on with Wizards of the Coast. People can have all sorts of reactions one way or the other. The fact of the matter is this, is that, hey, if Wizards of the Coast decide to turn everyone into teleport the next generation of gamers into, virtual Fruity land, and even if that's the act of the devil, if that's a sin against, the Messiah, Gary Gygax himself, if that's like a sin against, nature, if they do it and it's a success, and the next generation of gamers goes into dnd.com, triple firewall protected, that's where they live, that's where they breathe, that's where they get married, that's where they celebrate with their goggles on, and they don't know anything else from anything else. They don't handle dice. They don't know dice. They don't know what are you talking about. They don't even call it a role-playing game. They just call it Dungeons and Dragons. They don't know what you're talking about. They don't think that you're playing the same thing. They don't want to know that you play it in a computer game too. They don't want to know. And you're saying, no, it was criminal what they did. We saw this happen. They did this in 2023. This is when it happened. They did this. Okay. And you're going to celebrate your history on your virtual reality boards for the 10 years that you exist on the virtual reality boards. And then you're going to stop updating your posts. And then that piece of virtual history is going to go into the used bin, and they're going to start celebrating their little slice of history until either the world dies or we go on for another 1,000 years. And if we go on for another 100,000 years, all of this is the barking of dogs. All of this is nonsense. It amounts to nothing. And all of this is you buying shit. Third-party developer, first-party developer. Steve Jackson Games, still in business. FASA Corporation, out of business. Started by Kickstarter, powered by Zweihander, still in business, still out of business. Going to be in business forever? No one says, oh, play Zweihander, play Zweihander. Why isn't anyone talking about Zweihander? No one says play Zweihander. Why is everyone saying play Pathfinder, play Pathfinder? Why? How many of these people are partnered with Pathfinder? They disclose that they're partnered with Pathfinder, but you don't ask yourselves, what does that really mean? What does that really mean? That means if you adopt Pathfinder, they have a monetary interest in that. That's a real big win for them. The minute a person is a partner for Pathfinder and they start pushing Pathfinder or bringing Pathfinder up in a conversation with, I don't know, someone that is supposed to be being interviewed for an independent conversation, maybe you should start asking yourselves questions about, gee, is this really an independent conversation? Or people are not professional journalists. You're not even asking, a lot of people are out here, they've never seen a professional journalist. Oh man, it's so great. It's so great, man. Independent media, independent media, independent media. Yeah. Yeah, it's great because we went through all this bullshit with corporate influence media that got rid of the Walter Cronkites, right? That got rid of the real guys, that got rid of the real journalists. So what was the solution? Oh, we're all going to go to independent media. And what did that turn into? It turned into a world of uneducated punditry, right? Nonsense all over the place. Flashy lights, just gimmicks. This no intro RPG. Why does everyone? It's just a talking head at the end of the day. You're gonna have a 5-minute guy talking to you about a rule thing or a 7-minute review of a friggin' thing, and you're gonna make me sit through a 20-second rollout of a friggin' thing. Why? Because After Effects does it. Remember when everyone started getting those VHS recorders so you could do the effects on? And so now it's your fucking family video, but oh shit, it's a fucking star wipe. My fucking family video sucks because it doesn't have that. I don't think so. I think my family video rocks because I didn't fucking waste your time with the freaking star wipe. In fact, you know what I did early on? Stop videotaping. Anyway. They're just another corporation. Oh, what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a free and independent license, like the one that underlies Linux. Oh, we're just gonna operate it under a free license, like the one that underlies Linux. Okay. Do you know anything about the license that underlies Linux? Do you know about the Linux Foundation? Does it run on air? What is the operating budget of the Linux Foundation? Is it in the millions? Is it in the billions? Is it nothing? How is it funded? How many gifts does it have? How many people have died? How many millionaires do you think have died over the years that have said, I bequeath 5 million euros, $10 million to the Linux Foundation in a renewable trust or whatever to be invested? You know what I mean? People have Linux, but we're going to do something like that for friggin' tabletop role-playing games that's going to be maintained by whatever. People don't know what they're talking about. And why? Why should you have an open license? You can do it under the common license. There's no need to go through any hoops or any of this shit. Do you know what I mean? There's no need for a universal gaming license of anything because no one knows what the hell they're talking about. Oh, we got to make sure it's all open source and we're all signed up to this one mass contract that involves multiple parties, multiple signatories across national lines, somehow becoming a multi-party to a mass contract over space and time, independently of each other. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Let's do it that way again. But now maintained by Pazio because they sleep in cots because they were only motivated. They get up in the morning only to bring, what are we here to do? To bring games to the gamers. What are we here not to do? To make money. What are we here to do? To bring games to the gamers. What are we here not to do? To make money. What do we think about money? Sin. Who do we serve? The gamers. What do we think of money? Sin. Who do we serve? The gamers. They get bull fucking shit. And when these people get out there and they gather the people around from their YouTube channel, where they talk about the warehouses and all the workers in the warehouses, that is the oldest piece of PR corporate crapola you've ever seen in your life. Don't you ever fall for that bullshit. Yes, the small independent business person is fan-fucking-tastic, but the small independent business person is responsible for their business. Those are their employees. And guess what? Those warehouses full of product, they're selling those warehouses full of product. They made the decision to print up X amount of product in the anticipation to sell that product to you for a profit to them. Anyone who is in this business, even if they're making a little bit of money, even if they're barely surviving, has made a deal with life. I would rather be free and an artist and doing what I love rather than suck the corporate dick, rather than be like a cog in the machine or be in the wheel or do whatever, or this is what I'm doing. But whatever it is what it is. And life is not guaranteed. The contract gets broken. The corporation goes under. You know how many corporations turned around when Enron went under and we're just like, holy shit. I've seen people, their entire lives gone. 2008, 2009, Merrill Lynch. I knew mother. I knew a person. If I say a mother, not like an actual, like I knew like a brother who was a mother. You know what I mean? Like, I knew a guy. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I knew a guy, right? One day, I'm working Merrill Lynch. Hey, working Merrill Lynch. One the next day, I worked at Merrill Lynch. Poof, right? Straight up. Black Friday, you read about it in the history books, right? You come from out of no, like life just boom from, life will just hit you, but it will. But you just got to be ready for that. But when those people come out, you just know all this, we're a family, all this bullshit. Yo, chuck that shit right out the window. Whenever anyone comes at you who has ever sold you anything, or is like, especially that super chat thing, like watch out for that, like bingo lottery bullshit, like, even whatever. You get an adrenaline rush, you get a dopamine rush. They call out your name like they're calling out your name and your number. And they say, yo, what's up? And if you agree and you agree and they agree and you agree, whatever. There's all whew, and then the crowd goes wild. Oh, let's throw back a little bit more. Talk about mass mind control. I've seen what I know are some fat white dudes throw some serious money at some fat white dudes, like those fat white dudes were fat ass black women. Honestly, it is what it is. Oh, but what did I say? So here's the thing. Pazio is just another corporation. So when these people come out and say, yo, we're all going to go to Pathfinder, they're just telling you to go to another corporation. And that corporation can do whatever the fuck, and they can do another fucked up corporate move too. And I'm not saying that they're going to, but I'm saying there's no guarantee. And guess what? Oh, let's all go to Pathfinder. Okay, everyone goes to Pathfinder. Okay, now check this out. Right? Hasbro buys Pazio. What, they can't do that? Oh, they could do that in a heartbeat. And then all of a sudden, the company that you were going to rely on to maintain Orc is now owned by the evil demon Sauron themselves this Orc was going to protect you from. But all these super geniuses of the millennium, dude, these are like the people that think that they get a PhD from God just because they like Rick and Morty, right? Honestly, just because you play a game associated with dorks by Hollywood does not actually mean that you are a rocket scientist, right? Look, guys, fellas, and lady, used to be guy. I'm kidding. And ladies, including those who I chase. Hey, right? You hate me now? No, you don't. Right? This magic moment. Speaking of controversies, Oriental Adventures. No. Also, FYI, in case you're curious, G, is anyone going to talk about the fact that, like Pathfinder, let's all go to Pathfinder. Oh, Pathfinder, what edition? Because that everybody knows that there was universal adoption of second edition Pathfinder. Are we not going to talk about elephants in the room? Excuse me. Are we? You go to any Pathfinder, they're just like there were Dungeons and Dragons just like there are Dungeons and Dragons channels. There's a whole bunch of people that are Pathfinder channels. I haven't checked them out in a million years. I haven't checked them out in a million years, but I gotta go and check out the Pathfinder channels and see how they're reacting. I see that rules lawyer guy who. Oh, by the way, how about this? I never even asked myself this question. Untested assumptions. How many times have we seen that guy broadcast in daylight hours? Have we ever seen that guy not broadcast during daylight hours? We always see that guy broadcast from the same place. It never looks like a law office. Are you it's okay to be a YouTuber. A lot of people couldn't find jobs. I'm pivoting. Everyone's pivoting. But there's a whole bunch of people that should have just been like, I am not a intellectual property attorney. And that's why I am not talking about this. But instead, you just kept on talking about it and talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, inflaming the people, impassioning the people with more barking of dogs. Just like this whole video, this 32 minutes and 32 seconds. As I'm 8 minutes over and gotta go. I gotta go. Just the barking dogs, another opinion. You clicked on it for whatever reason you clicked on it. If you were going to hear it, you had to put yourself into a receptive space. But you got to get out of a receptive space to think about what you heard. And I don't know if you got enough time in the world to listen to it again. I don't know if it's worth listening to twice. But if you think about it critically. Every time you listen to somebody talk, think about it. And think twice when you start really disagreeing with somebody. You're not here to agree with people. You're here to question. You're here to think for yourself. I gotta go. I can't do anything for anybody, baby. I love you. I'll be able to react later. 4 of Swords. Repose. I will take this as advice. I had gone through many cycles of passion before making this video. And I thought I had cycled through and was significantly and sufficiently dispassionate and prepared to make the video. Perchance I was, perchance I wasn't. Maybe I will only discern that with reflection. But if I've told you that the secret is to question what you're listening to and what you're hearing, remember, cycle on, cycle off. Listen to the YouTube video, but before you play the next one, before you get barraged by more information and more opinion, turn off, go inside, think for yourself, reflect on yourself, ask yourself what you think. Okay? I love you. I love you. You're the best, but I gotta go. I love you, but I gotta go. Until next time. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody on this channel is Cable Guy Incognito, though I am known by other names in other places. The mystery continues.